Oh, I have danced the skies on laughter-silvered wings. I've done 100 things you have not dreamed of, but one thing I can't do is break the surly bonds of earth. The brooding mass of 1,000,000,000,000,000,000 kilograms will not forget your frail presence or fail its duty to oppose your dreams of flight. Man can create thrust with whirling blades and clattering reciprocal contraptions. Lift comes at the cost of a little induced drag, and there we have forces an aviator can command. Another force on our jaunty flying machines is beyond our control. Gravity is a downer. If I could wave Newton's magic wand and free us all, if there were some way to elude gravity's terrible grasp without the utter destruction of all we hold dear, I would do it. In an instant, I would wipe this scourge from our lives. But I can't. If I could, existence would end. But I understand the utter, inescapable depression our friends of the flat earth feel when gravity mocks them at the bathroom scale, or when our atmosphere's weight proves too great for its freedom. Without a container, because gas molecules, yearning for freedom, are helpless against mighty gravity. The grand playground of space taunts our air with its vacuum, yet our poor gases are forever trapped. The yawning maw of infinite vacuum is nothing compared to the force of gravity, distorting space-time, an abyss we can't fathom save for recognition of the deep melancholy wrought on those who believe gravity doesn't exist, yet can't escape its effects. Gravity is cruel. Gravity is also a lot of fun, like when you're navigating your sailboat across a lake. Gravity, pulling with unequal force on a well-found yacht and the water on which she rides, lets us explore places we can't walk, thanks to the gift of buoyancy. The YouTuber known as Sleeping Warrior has been quite active lately, promoting variations on a theme in which gravity doesn't exist. Buoyancy, in his view, is caused by relative density, not gravity. There's no gentle way to put this. He's wrong. I think he is capable of understanding the natural world's mechanisms, but for some reason he's reluctant to go with the obvious flow. Many flat earthers, in fact, believe gravity can't be responsible for holding our planet's air close to the Earth's surface. As outmoded as it is, many of them think there must be some kind of giant cake cover over the Earth holding the atmosphere in place. Nobody stops to think how heavy air is. We see it lift a 747 with a ramp weight of maybe 1,000,000 pounds, but we don't stop to think about how much mass there is in air. Let's say your living room is about 20 feet square with an 8-foot ceiling. Call it 7 meters on a side, 2.5 meters tall. It's not that I'm trying to sound all fancy schmancy with metric things. It's just that I'm in a hurry and I can remember the density of air in kilograms per cubic meters off the top of my head. So your living room is 122.5 cubic meters. Air is 1.3 kilograms per cubic meter, so the air in your living room mass is 159.29 kilograms. Would you have guessed there's 350 pounds of air in your living room? Do you suppose air is influenced in any way by what it weighs? Of course. But the second law of thermodynamics, they say. Gas pressure, even if tapering off to a vacuum with a pressure gradient far less powerful than the infinite force gradient of observed gravity, whatever causes a force, well, that would somehow violate the second law of thermodynamics. In response to one of his visitors, Sleeping Warrior made a comment on his channel's community page saying, "Pressure goes to no pressure. Always remember, gravity is not a force." If that's true, I've got a pickle of a puzzle for you to solve, because I guess I'm going to break the second law of thermodynamics. The inlet to that siphon tube is about an inch under the surface of water. The water pressure there is about 4/100ths of a psi gauge. The outlet from the siphon is under about 12 inches of water at a pressure better than 10 times as great, nearly a half psi gauge. And the water merrily flows from a low-pressure zone to a high-pressure zone. No batteries, springs, pumps, or hidden escape tunnels. The force causing this to happen isn't relative density. The density of the tubing I used is greater than water and should have forced the water up if relative density had any effect. The density of the air, by any means I have of measuring it, is the same at both ends of the pipe. The force making this happen, like it or not, is gravity. But if that doesn't convince you, check this out. Up there, at the surface of the water in that big tank, the water pressure is at 0 psi gauge. Down here, at that hydrant under the tower and 120 feet lower, the pressure in all directions, up, down, out, back up the pipe, along the pipe in both directions, uphill and downhill, is about 60 psi gauge. Hang on, I'm going to bust the second law of thermodynamics again. Maybe I didn't violate any natural laws. There's this thing called gravity everybody's talking about in the better households, and it sounds pretty influential. Thank you for watching. For context, please visit Sleeping Warrior's channel. If you like this kind of stuff, please subscribe, mash the like button, and click the bell so you'll get notifications. Please also leave comments. They are a delight to read, whether or not you agree with me, and I always appreciate correction.